Okay, guys, once again, I welcome you to my lesson for today, where we'll be doing analytical geometry. So remember, guys, there's a lesson that I sent in the group, which actually shows where we started with this chapter. So just in case if you are watching this lesson on my YouTube channel, just make sure to subscribe so that you get notified of my future uploads. So in today's lesson, guys, as I indicated, I've sent an image in the group where I indicated that we'll be looking at question number 3. So remember, guys, very, very much important at all times, make sure that you start each question on a new page. That's very, very, very much important, guys. So I'm just going to quickly read through the given statement. It's not really a long statement. That's why I did not draw that diagram. So the statement reads as follows. In the diagram below, P, which has got the coordinates of 7 and 4, comma, Q, which has got the coordinates of 6 and 6, comma, R, which has got the coordinates of 0 and 3, and S, which has got the coordinates in terms of letters being T and K, are the vertices of a quadrilateral PQRS. So that is the statement that we are given for this question number 3. So for the purpose of today's lesson, guys, please do allow me to quickly draw that diagram while explaining some of the important stuff. So remember, guys, what did I say a Cartesian plane looks like? So this is how a Cartesian plane looks like, ladies and gentlemen. So I think let me just draw it there, then we'll base all our questions here. So this is what we call a Cartesian plane, guys. How do you see a Cartesian plane? A Cartesian plane, it has got two lines, the horizontal line called the x-axis, and again we've got the vertical line which is called the y-axis. And we know very well, ladies and gentlemen, that on a Cartesian plane we've got the origin. What is the origin? At the origin, that's where that line which is the x-axis and that line which is the y-axis has got a 0 over there. So that is the point of intersection of the x and the y-axis. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. So now I notice there's someone who was online but have their mics unmuted. So remember, guys, just make sure that at all times you read the group rules so that you avoid being removed from the group. So guys, based on that given statement, they said, let me just quickly write over there to say, they said point P, that's where we've got 7 and 4, and again they said Q, we've got the coordinates 6 and 6, and again they said R, it's 0 and 3, and lastly they said S is T, and what else, ladies and gentlemen, is T and K. So they said these are the vertices of quadrilateral. So all of these are the vertices of quadrilateral PQRS. So guys, as I've said, for the purpose of this lesson, please do allow me to open your eyes with some. So, guys, a day without learning something new, it's a day wasted. By so saying, good people, please make sure that by the end of each and every lesson that I conduct, you learn some new. Very, very much important, guys. So, listen to me very carefully, guys. This is a letter which could have been any letter from A up to Z. So in this case, they chose to use letter P, letter Q, letter R, letter S. What do we call those letters? We call those letters points. So that means on this question, we are given point P, point Q, point R, and point S. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. What are these points representing? They represent what we call the coordinates. The coordinates. Very, very much important, guys. So what do we know about the coordinates? We know very well that the coordinates has got the X and the Y axis. So that means point P has got these coordinates. So let's plot these points on our Cartesian plane. Obviously, we know that X can be positive or minus. Also, Y can be positive or minus. It all depends on the quadrant in which that point falls. So you need to be aware that on your Cartesian plane, where is your first quadrant? At all times, when you're given a diagram, ask yourself this question: where is my first quadrant? In that way, you are able to know that, okay, this is my first quadrant, this is my second, this is my third, this is my fourth. Therefore, everything is based in the first quadrant. Why? Because of all of these points or all of these coordinates are positive. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. So now let's try to plot the first point. So the first point being point P, we've got our X value being 7. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on this side, then you go up by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can maybe assume that point to be somewhere there. This is just an estimation, guys. So point Q, they say it's 6. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 just before 7. Then you go 6 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we can just assume maybe that point to be there. This is just an estimation, guys. So let's go to point R. Point R is 0 and 3. So this is 0, where's 3? 1, 2, 3. We just go up by 3. We can maybe assume that point to be somewhere there. And let's see, we are also given point S, of which it's not given the coordinates. So in the meantime, let me just connect these lines. So I just wanted to show you guys on how you plot the given coordinates. So this is point P, where we know point P at 7 and 4. And again, this is point what? This is point Q. We know point Q at 6 and 6. And again, we know this is point R. What is point R? It's 0 and 3. So remember, guys, this drawing is already drawn, is given as a diagram. That is the reason why I won't stress that much about having to explain regarding that point S. But you just need to be aware that point S has got the coordinates of T and K. And T represents the X value, K represents the Y value, which means, ladies and gentlemen, if a question comes where they talk about T or K, you just need to know that T, X value, K, Y value. Very, very much important, guys. So that point, it's somewhere there. So let me just quickly connect those 2 points and also connect that one over there. And let's say this is our point S, which has got the coordinates of T, K. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen, that at all times you are able to interpret the given information. So guys, before we start with our very first question, Am I audible? Are you guys able to hear me? And again, are you happy with what has been explained so far? Does it make sense to everyone, or is there any question before we start?
No questions, sir. We are happy.
No questions, sir.
No questions, sir.
No questions, sir.
No questions,
No questions, sir.
Questions, sir.
100%, because there is no question from your side. Let's try to attempt questions related to this problem. So I think what I can do, let me just remove this, and maybe please do allow me to remove that. But before I do that, guys, I want to make you guys aware of something. There's someone who's got their mics unmuted. Make sure to mute your mic, guys. Let me quickly see who's got their mics unmuted. So I'm just going to mute it from my side, guys. You see, Lithumelo Njemla is disappointing me. Okay, I suppose he's muted. So guys, just make sure that you mute your mic, because I'm going to request my admin to make sure that all those who don't control their mics on their side, they are banned from this group. Disetso Madikiza, I'm going to have you muted, and again, you stand a very good chance of being banned from this group. So, guys, I wanted to explain something. The vertices, the word vertices, it simply talks about the corners. So if you are given a shape similar to that, which may look like either a diamond or a kite, the moment they say the vertices, even in physical sciences or whatever chapter or module that you'll be doing, for those of you next year who will be at varsity, the word vertices refers to the points at the corners. Guys, do you get it? If you don't get it, forget about it. I hope you fully understand that part. Ladies and gentlemen, quadrilateral. Quadrilateral. I think over the weekend I should take you through. Remember, that's if I've got a space over the weekend. So remember, guys, I also do one-on-one lessons. So there are some of you guys who joined my lessons recently. It's unfortunate we are very far. It's unfortunate you guys discovered me a bit late. So what I like about Telegram is that I'm able to record this lesson. So just in case, if you are wondering what have we done so far, you can just click on that last link that I sent you. I sent you a WhatsApp with 3 links. The last link is where I post this lesson. So also, today's lesson is being recorded. I'm going to post it so that you can catch up and watch it over and over again in case if it's one of your favorite lessons. So for those who are new and you missed my previous lessons, you can just catch up on that link. And most importantly, there are some of you who are doing self-study. You are not attending a class. You are just relying on lessons similar to this one. In case if you don't want to catch up, you can also click on there's a pinned message in the group which has got all the important information. Everyone in this group must be aware of that link. Read through that link and you'll find all the relevant information. So one-on-one lessons are only done on weekends. So in case if on weekend I don't have too many one-on-ones, I'll take you through that image that I sent in the group, which shows all the types of shapes that we normally consider, especially in this chapter of analytical geometry. So you need to be aware of what is a trapezium, what is a kite, what is a quadrilateral, etc. But in today's lesson, I'll just keep it simple for everyone. So just be aware that normally in this chapter of analytical geometry, they like questioning you on a quadrilateral. So we'll explore all the characteristics of a quadrilateral. So that means a quadrilateral has got 4 corners, and the first corner there is P, second corner A, that, third corner, and fourth corner. But what you need to know for now about a quadrilateral is that this side, the length of that side, it should be equals to the length of that side. And again, the length of this side, it should be equals to the length of that side. And most important, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about a quadrilateral, you should also know that when you draw a straight line connecting these 2 points, and you also connect that line connecting these 2 points, that point is the midpoint for this line and that line. So those are the characteristics of a quadrilateral. For example, if they say calculate the gradient of this line, because you know that this is a quadrilateral, it means the gradient of this line must be equals to the gradient of that line. And again, the gradient of this line, must be equals to the gradient of that line. And again, in terms of the distances or the length, that length must be equals to that must be equals to that. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. And again, when we talk about a quadrilateral, you can have a quadrilateral of all sides being equal. You can have a quadrilateral of sides like that. So this is a special type of a quadrilateral which is called square. So you guys know this shape as a square, and you know this shape as a rectangle. So, but first thing first, you just need to be aware that this is a quadrilateral. Why is it a quadrilateral? Because you've got a parallel lines, and again the sides, 2 sides are equal. So if it's a square, you know this side is equals to that, is equals to that, is equals to that. And again, the gradient of that line should be equal to the gradient of that line. Most importantly, these 2 lines are parallel, these 2 lines are parallel. So for a rectangle, you know very well that this line is equals to that, but this line and that line are not equal to those 2. So these are longer sides and these are smaller sides. So that means this is only equal to that. So most importantly, when you cross with that line and that line, this is the center of the whole of that, which means this is the midpoint of that point and that point. This again is the midpoint of that point and that point. But in this case of a rectangle, if you do that, ladies and gentlemen, it means this is the midpoint of that line and that line. And again, this is the midpoint of that line and that line. And most importantly, the length or distance of that line and that line are equal. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen, that you attend the next lesson that I'll be doing when I take you guys through that part of explaining the shapes. And most importantly, guys, if it's a square or a rectangle, we know very well that at the corners we have 90 degrees. At the corners we have 90-degree angle. Just be aware of that. So something which may be a bit confusing is a shape similar to that one. Remember, you can have maybe that quadrilateral positioned differently, guys. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is always going to be a horizontal line and a vertical line. So can you see how that one looks like? It's at an angle. And again, even a square, it can be represented as that shape, maybe on a Cartesian plane in the second quadrant, which you've got the y and the x axis. So guys, just make sure that you remember all that I explained. So just in case if you feel like you are a bit behind, remember, guys, I think in the group today, my admin has posted 2 links. So remember, guys, Telegram is so advanced. I like it so much. That's why I don't do my lessons on WhatsApp. So sometimes some of you guys, you might be communicating with my admin on the same account, and the reason to that is because I'm not always available, guys. It's either I'm at work or otherwise it's either I'm preparing for the lesson. So my admin has got access to both accounts. So just make sure that every time when you join my lessons, you familiarize yourself with the rules. Otherwise, my admin won't have mercy on you. So in case if you notice something which you don't understand, you are welcome to send me an inbox. But most importantly, guys, I'm begging you for the last time, please do not comment in the group. We try to keep it clean so that during that time of exams, you guys will be able to easily browse through and find the most important information. But if you keep on commenting, asking questions and everything, I'm telling you guys, you will be removed and banned for like a week, just so that you will never forget to follow instructions. And most importantly, guys, it already tells when you don't read my information, because if I say don't do this and you do it, it means you are not reading our text, which means that day when you're desperate for my help, I'm going to remember that this one wasn't taking me serious throughout the year. So just make sure that you read everything. So guys, I'm not sure if you're able to see that first question, which says calculate the length of PQ, and most importantly, leave your answer in SAT form. Guys, remember, in case if you want to see where I'm reading, on your screen, just click somewhere where it says back. Then from there, you should be able to see the question paper that I sent in the group. So calculate the length of PQ, leave your answer in SAT form. Very, very much important. On yesterday's lesson, we almost had a similar question where they say, leave your answer in SAT form. SAT is square root of whatever. So the moment you have square root of something, this is what we call a SAT. So it's a SAT form. We've done a chapter focusing on SAT in one of our previous lessons. So just make sure that you also catch up on those. But again, guys, remember, because we have done a lesson and we have passed it, it doesn't necessarily mean that we won't revisit that particular lesson. So I'm going to make sure that all of you guys, before you write your exams, I give you all the important information that you need to know. And again, I want to prepare a very, very good strategy that I was applying, guys. I can't wait to make a video about this strategy, because I can tell you guys, for me, before I went to write either my class test, exams or whatever, I wasn't practicing mathematics. If I was writing mathematics, I would just sit and just look at mathematical problems that I created myself and just look at them and talk to myself. That's how I prepared for my test. But it will make sense when I do those videos. So I'm sure some of you guys have already done this question 3.1. But most importantly, guys, because the question said calculate the length of PQ. So remember, I said when it's given in capital letters, it means the length. So we represent in analytical geometry the lengths or distances in capital letters. So it's either is the length or the distance. So guys, if you find yourself in exam not understanding the question, ask yourself this. What is the cream of the question? What is that one word or those few words when removed from a question? The whole of the question won't make sense. By doing that, you will be able to understand if whatever that you are writing, you are getting closer to answering the question. So that is why, guys, it's important that you read all the information that is written. So for me, because they said the length or they set the distance of PQ, same time I'm going to write the distance formula and write PQ over there and say this is all that I know about the distance formula. X2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1 squared. And remember guys, I said alphabetically P comes first, Q comes second, which means your x2 and your y2 are going to be Q because alphabetically Q comes second. X1, y1 is going to be P. Why? Because alphabetically P comes first. So guys, I'm always going to be saying this just so that the new guys will have this information sink in their mind. And again, for those of you who hear me all the times, just make sure that it sinks, it gets deeper into your head. So guys, let's now substitute. So what does it mean? It means our x2, it's going to be 6. So let's substitute 6 there. What about our x1? Is it not that one? I think it's that one because we are focusing on a PQ. So that means we are calculating that distance or that length. So we have 6 minus 7, you close, you squared, you plus, your y2 is 6 there, minus your y1 is 4 squared. So guys, this is what we notice at marking center. You know guys, you are very, very lucky. Consider yourself very, very lucky because the information that I'm giving to you guys, it's not easily accessible either on the internet or from some of your tutors, guys, because all that I'm saying is from experience. So I want to show you guys where you make silly mistakes. The first mistake is for you to not substitute in brackets, especially when you have a negative number. So for example, if that 6 was a negative number, you had to open another bracket to say negative 6, then you say minus 7, then you square it. So it helps to substitute in brackets. And again, on this formula, you forget to square either when you write or when you punch on a calculator. So that's where you are most likely to make some mistakes. So guys, I'm not sure if there's someone who's got an answer already. So just in case if you've got an answer,
Square root of 5.
Square root of 5. 100%, I suppose everyone got the same answer. So good people, square root of 5 can be written as a decimal. Let me see what is that in a form of a decimal. Guys, let me see, it's square root of 5, so it is 2,2. Corrected to decimal places is going to be 4. So guys, that means our final answer can be represented as that or that. But the question specifically said in a sat form, so you will leave it as that. And most importantly, because this is a distance or length, just say a unit. And most importantly, guys, if they wanted it in a form of a decimal, just round your final answer correct to 2 decimal places, unless if they specified. But if you have a calculation somewhere in the middle, whether in physical sciences or whatever, and you get a decimal number, what I normally do is to maybe round it to 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places and not round the last number. I am only going to round off the final answer. Good people, did that make sense to everyone? Can we move to the second question? Or is there someone who's got a question there?
I have a problem. I can't hear you very well.
Is there someone also who can hear me very well?
No, sir.
Over here, I can hear you too.
Can hear you.
Okay,
I
so
can hear you as well.
sometimes it happens that as a result of network. You guys are failing to hear me properly. But one thing for sure, if someone in the group says they are able to hear me clearly, it means it could be network from your side. But rest assured, guys, this lesson is being recorded, and again, in case if you missed some of the information, it will be posted online. So our admin are working so hard to make sure that all the past lessons are all posted. Then going forward, the lesson that we do, for example, today, should be posted the following day, just so that you're not left behind. So I'm going to make sure that I post as many information as possible. Then from there, I'm going to send all the links in the group and make sure that we indicate that from now on, the lesson that we do will be posted the following day. I hope you guys will be happy if we do things this way. So remember, guys, this question is allocated 2 marks, which means you will only get a mark for that and for final answer, which is in a third form. So guys, I hope we can now move to the next question. But otherwise, is there someone who's got a question in relation to what we've done so far, or does it make sense to everyone?
It does make sense, sir.
100%. So it's not really that much complicated. Let's now try to move to question 3.2. So question 3.2, guys, says if T, very, very much important, if T is a point which has got the coordinates of 7/2. Okay, so they say T has got the coordinates 7/2 and again 7/2. They say if T is the midpoint of QS, determine the coordinates of S. What an interesting question, guys. So they are saying if T is the midpoint of QS, then determine the coordinates of S. I'm going to answer someone who's asking themselves, how exactly do we approach this type of a question? So the reason why, guys, I prepare for your lessons is because I want to try and put myself in your position and try to guide you in terms of how to think. It's not always about giving you the answers, guys. I want to put myself in your shoes and try to guide you in terms of how you can answer this type of question. So remember, guys, let's say it confuses you. But the first thing first, guys, what was mentioned in the question is the midpoint. They mentioned the midpoint. And what did I say about the midpoint? I said the word mid comes from middle. So a point is just a point, and you know a letter represents a point, and these are the coordinates. So because they talked about the midpoint, then it means I might need to use a formula for the midpoint. And I know very well that for the formula of the midpoint, I must be having 2 points in order to calculate the third point. So let's see. I think it was Bazo who asked a question related to this in yesterday's lesson. I'm just not really sure. In case if I'm wrong, just correct me. Otherwise, if you it's not Bazo and whoever who attended the lesson asked this question, just make sure to mention your name so that I remember. So guys, here I am in exam and they're talking about this, but I can't really think how to approach this type of question. But first thing first, ask yourself, at what point does those 2 coordinates fall? Where could be T somewhere there? Because it's given in a fraction form, before you even spot that point there, because they said is the midpoint of those 2 points, just try to find out exactly where that point lies. How do you do it? Convert this to a decimal, guys. I'm sure in one of the questions you will come across a similar problem where you might need to do something in order to determine the position of a certain coordinate. So just say 7 divided by 2, convert it to decimal, then is 3,5. So where is 3,5? You can go like 1, 2, 3.5. Then it's somewhere along that 1, 2, 3.5. Then you know is that point, which means there is point T, which is 3.5 for X and 3.5 for Y. So most importantly, guys, because they mentioned the midpoint formula, and I know very well that a midpoint formula, it's a midpoint between 2 points. Which 2 points are they talking about in this question? Is the point of Q and S. So that means the midpoint of Q and S is going to be equals to, remember, for the X value. So let me just, okay, it's fine. Let me just create some space so that everything fits in there. So the X value for QS, it's equals to, I said midpoint, you add these two values, then you divide them into half. So that means we are going to have xq plus x of s. So this formula, guys, you must know them by heart. You shouldn't rely on the formula sheet to determine these formulas. So let me also do for the y value. We know that the midpoint of QS will be equals to y of Q plus y of S divided by 2. So just make sure, guys, that you know these formulas by heart. So remember, the x value of that midpoint and the y value of that midpoint is given. So instead of us saying the x value of QS, let's say the x value of T, because T is a point that they say is the midpoint. Let's now use T. So guys, it seems like I've got all the information. Remember, they actually want the coordinates of S. And most importantly, guys, before you even get to your final answer, expect a positive value for X and a positive value for Y, because what happens is you do calculations and somewhere along your calculations you make a mistake, but you don't correct that mistake after getting to your final answer. We know very well that we're expecting positive answers on the first quadrant. So if you get a negative answer as your final answer, just know you made a mistake somewhere. So we can now easily substitute into the midpoint formula. So this is the midpoint formula, guys. Just make sure that you know that formula by heart. And most importantly, I've sent a link to that lesson where I did a master class where I was teaching all that you need to know about analytical geometry. So remember, guys, what you can do, it's either to buy that daily data, because it's a lot of data. You can just watch all the master lessons. So otherwise, if you guys you prefer to study midnight, you can also buy that data for midnight or whatever, and just watch all these lessons where I was giving an intro, because for you to fully understand what we are doing here, you must have first watched that intro, because all that we're applying is based on that intro. So you don't just attend the lesson in the middle, then you fully understand, unless if you've gone through the intro. So let's see, guys, what are we having there? Do we have the x value of T? It seems like we do, guys. There, it's 7 over 2. So we can just say 7 over 2, it's equals to, let's see, guys, do we have the x value of Q? It seems like we do. There, at 6. Okay, let me write 6. Remember, if it was a negative value, then I was going to write it in brackets. Plus, do we have the x value of X? It seems like we don't have, guys. And something interesting, we are actually calculating the coordinates of X. So they say the x value of X is T. Then let me write t over there, because that is what I'm calculating, divided by 2. So that 2, it has been there. Mathematically, you know very well that for you to solve for t, you can just cross multiply, then you transpose. So that means you actually have, remember, the whole of this is just one thing. So you can cross multiply and have, let's say, that 7 over 2 being multiplied by this 2. Then from there, let me just do it step by step and say you have 6 plus t. Therefore, it means, obviously, you can see these two, they actually cancel each other out. So it means you have 7, you transpose, this is minus 6, it's equals to t. Therefore, it actually means t is equals to 7 minus 6, which is 1. So that is how you solve for t. Remember, guys, this is not a lesson where we teach you on how to solve for x. We have done that lesson, of which I still wish for us to redo that lesson before you guys write exams, because most of you guys, you struggle with solving for the unknown. So remember, guys, solving for x, it's simply solving for the unknown. What is the unknown? The unknown is a letter represented by it could be A or any letter up to Z, but in mathematics they like representing the unknown as x. So when you solve for x is the same as you solve for A when you solve for B, C, D, E, F, G, X, Y, Z. So it's just solving for the unknown, and there are mathematical rules to follow when solving for the unknown, which is something that I say all of you guys must attend when I teach that lesson, because for me to fully understand mathematics and again to excel in physical sciences, especially paper 1, it's because I invested much of my time into solving for the unknown. Because once you do that in physical sciences, if you are able to substitute correctly, you will never go wrong with calculations. Very, very much important, guys. So we perform the same calculation on this side. So we've got 7 over 2, which is equals to, do I have the y value for q? Let me see, where's q? Oh yes, there at 6 again. Plus, what is the y value of s? Do I have it? I don't have it, but in this case they say we must call it k. So let me write k over there divided by 2. So you cross multiply, then you transpose. So it's more like a is 2 into 7 over 2, then you transpose minus 6. This is equals to k. So it's the same type of calculation, but here it's represented differently, which means there are multiple ways to solve that, as long as you follow mathematical procedure, ladies and gentlemen. So that means k is equals to, that cancels, you have 7 minus 6, which is equals to 1. What does it mean, guys? It means the coordinates of s is actually 1 and 1. And I'm confident that this is correct. Why? Because I got positive values at a point which really seems to be 1 and again 1. So guys, this is how you score yourself 3 marks. So you easily score those marks, guys. They are not that much this question is not that much difficult. So for you to substitute correctly, guys, I'm going to give you a mark over there. Let me just get another marker. I'm going to give you a mark for correctly substituting the x values, and also I'm going to give you a mark over there. So for both of these answers, guys, I'm also going to give you a mark. Then you've secured 3 more marks in the back. Guys, did that make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir. That was quite
Yes,
clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
100%. So I can just confidently remove all of that. Here comes a question, guys, a very interesting question. So question 3.3. Good people, follow the numbering system used in the question paper. Very, very much important, guys. If you do not follow the numbering system used in the question paper, it means you are not answering the questions asked by an examiner, but you might be answering questions that you yourself has asked yourself. So we won't give you correct ticks because we ask you a question and you ask yourself a question and answer to yourself. So make sure that you follow the correct and numbering system. So question 3.3 says, can someone mute their mics? Guys, make sure that you have your mics muted. So 3.3 says, if the coordinates of S are 1 and 1, show that PR is equals to QS. So this is what I want you guys to be aware of. Can you see this question? It says, if the coordinates of S are 1 and 1. For that reason, it means previously you should have got 1 and 1. If you did not get 1 and 1, guys, I think in translation it should be your home is in the mountain. If you calculated 3.2 and you did not get 1 and 1, guys, your new home is in the mountains, because here examiner is actually feeling for you to say, let's just give them a clue in terms of the previous question. So the moment you don't get the same answer on your previous question, then be worried. But luckily, we got that answer. Then we can, with a big smile, work on this question. So can you see, guys, if the coordinates of S is 1 and 1, show that PR is equals to QS. Where's PR? There is PR. Show that is equals to QS. And this question is allocated 2 marks, guys. So that means you don't really need to perform heavy calculations there. You just need to apply what you understand about that shape. I know someone, they feel like I could ask this as a question so that they can give it a try. Guys, who wants to give it a try? Remember, mention your name, make a comment, mute your mic.
Lerato, sir.
Larato, go for it.
Sir, I think we must calculate the length of QS separately, then the length of PR. Then if we get the same answers, then we conclude that they are equal.
So Larato says we must calculate the length of QR. Let's see. No. Wait. What did you say, Larato? Length of what and what?
QS and RP or PR.
So QS and again the length of PR. So that means Larato is saying because she noticed on the question that they have represented those in capital letters. So that means they are actually talking about the distance of QS. This is also represented in capital letters. You can use the distance formula, which means the distance of QR is going to be equals to the distance of P and R, which is 100% Lerato. But I want to make you guys aware of something. Because of the marks allocated, it means there might possibly be another easy way of going away with proving that these two lengths are equal. Why am I saying this? It's because if you have to use this formula, it wouldn't worth 2 marks to perform those two calculations. Even though, Lerato, you are 100% correct. If you do that, guys, you are going to get full marks. But what I'm going to do, guys, is to say, I think we might as well just do it, because I think it's going to be a good exercise. So what the other thing that I wanted to say, guys, is that because I know that this is a quadrilateral, that means if I can prove that the midpoint of these 2 points is that, then it means indeed this is a quadrilateral, and therefore with reasons I can say the midpoint of QS is the same values as the midpoint of RQ. Therefore, that length and that length is equal. I'm not sure if it makes sense, but guys, if you've got a calculator or you are also writing as I'm writing, let's quickly do as Lerato has suggested. So that means we are going to have the distance of PR, which is going to be equals to, I'm just going to be substituting. Which letter comes first? Let me see. On the question, they said PR. So that means R is my X2, Y2 there. So let's see. That formula says X2 minus X1 plus what is it, y2 minus y1 close squared. So let's see when we substitute that. So we are going to have let's see, the x value is 0 there, minus that x value there is 7 squared, plus into what is the y2, there is 3 minus y1 is 4 squared. Anyone who's got an answer for that? Let's also calculate the distance.
5 root 2.
5 root 2. Thanks. So let's also do for that. Let's see, guys, what are we doing here? Remember, between Q and S, which one comes first is Q. So these are my X1, these are my Y2. So these are my second values. So let's see, what is my Y? I mean, my X2 is going to be 1 minus, what is my X1? It's 6, then I squared, plus that is my Y2 minus 6, then I squared. Guys, the other mistake that you are most likely to make is to
5
take
root
1
2.
as your X2, but when you continue, you take 6 as your X2, which is going to give you wrong answers. So can you see, guys, in this way, we have easily proved that the length of PR is equals to the length of QS. By so doing, I'm going to give you a mark, and again, I'm going to give you a mark. Ladies and gentlemen, did that make sense to everyone? And are you guys happy?
Yes, sir, it did make sense.
Yes,
Other
please.
alternative method.
So that alternative method, guys, of which is something you can also try. Just try to check what happens if you calculate the midpoint of T using R and P. Why R and P? Is because they already gave us the midpoint between Q and S. So we just want to test if that midpoint is still going to be the same values. Let's just give it a try, guys. Let's just do it here so that we check if indeed is correct. So it's more like you are going to have the x of the midpoint of P R, which is going to be, we know, is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and again, in terms of y for the midpoint of PR, it has to be y1 plus y2. So let's substitute, guys. What are we having here? P, maybe let's let's say 7 plus 0 divided by 2. And again, on this side, we are going to have, what are we having? I think we have 4, and again, plus 3 divided by 2. So what are we having, guys? What is this? This is 7 over 2. What is this thing, guys? I think this is 7 over 2. What does it mean? It means the midpoint of PR, it's actually equals to 7 over 2 and 7 over 2. Guys, did it make sense? So
Did, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
100%. So what I like about analytical geometry, guys, is that here you've got multiple choice in terms of approaching the question. So you just need to be careful in terms of what the question wants you to provide as part of your answer. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. So now let's move to 3.4. The question says, show that QR is perpendicular to RS. Show that QR, remember this sign means perpendicular to RS. Before we do anything, guys, I said in my previous lessons to say, if we have perpendicular lines, it means you can see over there, guys, it's a straight line and another a straight line. They form 90-degree angle over there. That's if line 1 to 2 and 3 to 4, or maybe let me say AB, line AB and line CD. So what you need to know is that when you multiply the gradient of that line and you multiply the gradient of that line, it must be equals to -1. That is how you prove if two lines are perpendicular to each other. But if two lines are parallel to each other, that means they've got the same gradient. That means M1 is equals to M2 for parallel lines. But for perpendicular lines, M1 you multiply it with M2 and it must give you -1. So I hope you guys still remember that. If you did not attend that lesson, just be aware of that information for now. But guys, I'm begging you, please make sure to catch up. If you are lazy to catch up, you still have an opportunity to request for one-on-one lessons. So the reason why one-on-one lessons are charged, guys, is because I want to encourage you to catch up on my previous lessons. So whether we do one-on-one or you catch up, the quality of the content is the same. It doesn't necessarily mean that because we'll be doing one-on-one, then I'm going to provide some magics or whatever. It's going to be the same, guys. So just make sure that in case if you want to be engaging with me, asking questions and everything, then you can say, I prefer one-on-one. But the disadvantage with catching up is that you're not able to ask me questions because the lesson is done already. But we have very good learners in this group who asked important questions. So for everything that we do, for everything that doesn't make sense, or other learners are not understanding, luckily they do ask questions and their questions are valid and worth asking. So I'm able to respond. And again, guys, if you are my learner, a registered learner, and you are watching one of my previous lessons, you try to catch up and you don't understand something, you are more than welcome to send me a voice note to say, you were doing this lesson, here's the link, at this time you're explaining this and I did not understand. I'm also going to explain to you with a voice note explaining what's going on over there. But otherwise, guys, please avoid sending me problems via inbox saying, here's my a homework, I need it urgently, what. I'm not available, guys. It's unfortunate. You don't know how busy I am. Instead of me having to work out your homework, assignment, project, or whatever, I would rather prepare for a lesson that I know is going to benefit you, because I help you, you get 100%. Your teacher thinks you know the stuff. Come exam, I'm not there, you fail. So can you see? It's more like it's a waste of time for yourself and myself, because you'll still be repeating the same thing the following year. So just make sure, guys, that you know you get happy when I teach you on how to catch a cat. What is it? A fish, instead of giving you a fish. So show that QR is equals to RS, and this question is allocated 4 marks. So guys, we've got marks here. For every question that we do, guys, remember, if you have let me just write that this is allocated 4 marks. If you have question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4. If you want to get distinctions for that specific paper, make sure that for question 1, you score at least 80% of the marks. Again, for those easy questions, make sure that if possible, you score 100%. Just in case, if for question 3, maybe you get 70%, then a percentage from that 100 is going to balance. And again, let's say you get 60%, a percentage from question 2 is going to balance. Then you'll find that overall, maybe you get let's say 80 to 85%. This is a distinction, guys. And I told you a story about distinctions to say, if you get distinctions, you get what we call a merit buzzer. I'm going to explain that story again where it's summarized, just so that you guys are motivated. But most importantly, guys, for this question, I want us to also get a distinction. If possible, let's get 100%, so that it contributes towards your final year mark. So guys, I gave you enough time to be thinking about that problem. Here comes a question. Mention your name, unmute, make a comment, and mute your mic. How can we show that QR is perpendicular to QS?
Okay, so my name is Tangwani.
Remember, Madam Speaker, I'm trying to get my light, so you can just carry on. I'm listening, but I'm a bit away from my phone.
Okay. First off, I think we should find the gradient of R and the gradient, QR and the gradient of RS, and we multiply them.
Do you guys agree with that?
Yes, I agree.
Yes, we agree.
100%. This
Yes,
is a
sir.
good indication that you guys, understand this stuff. So let's see. She says we calculate the gradient of a QR and also the gradient of that. Then we multiply them. When we multiply them, what are we expecting when we multiply those two?
We have to
It should be equal to
one.
-1.
So of -1.
100%. So let's quickly calculate the gradient of QR. So we know it's y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So let's substitute, guys. Where is Q? Where is R? There is Q. There is R. So y2, I can just say it's 6, then minus 3 divided by 6 minus 0. What is that? I think this is 3 over 6. Is this a half, guys? I think that is half. Let's now calculate again the gradient of RS. Same formula, but different values. So let's see, guys, what is what? The second values, maybe I can say my y value is that, which is that over that. What am I having here, guys? What am I having here, guys? I think I'm having what is it? Is it 0 minus 1? So I think it's 0 minus 1. And what is that? I think this is 2 divided by -1, which is the same as -2. So let's see if you guys are correct. You are saying m of q r multiplied by m of rs must be equals to -1. So let's see. Let me substitute. That is a half multiplied by -2. That is that. What is this, guys? It seems to be -1. Can someone just perform a calculation there?
It's negative
Yes,
one.
sir, it is -1.
100%. This is -1, which is a good indication that QR is actually perpendicular to what is it? RS. By so doing, guys, this is how you score yourself 4 marks. So I think you actually get a mark. Let's see, because obviously there you performed some calculation. I think you deserve a mark over there. You deserve a mark over there. And again, for you to correctly calculate this one, you deserve a mark. Let's see. And again, for you to represent that, you deserve a mark, ladies and gentlemen. It shows that you fully understand your story. And again, for that final answer, we are going to give you a mark. Ladies and gentlemen, did that make sense to everyone? And are you happy?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Sir.
Okay, 100%. So now, let me just remove all of that, and from there, guys, I want to tell you something of which I think it's something that you would like. I've got so many plans for this channel, guys. I've got so many plans. Big plans are coming. Just make sure that you become my learner, guys. If the more of you, the better, because I want you guys to have access to the information with which I think it's worth it to have, of which we did not have during our time. So I'm going to be engaging with my friends from different varsities who studied different courses. So there will be a time where we are going to have a career exhibition. I'm still planning and working on it. So in that career exhibition, guys, I'm going to find guys either at workplace or universities who are studying different courses. I'm going to make sure that you are aware of what they are studying. And again, I'm going to invite them in this same group where you guys will be having questions in terms of how did they find their matric, what kind of learners were they in high school, what are they studying, how did they apply, where are the bursaries, how much are their bursaries paying them monthly, accommodation, how is whatever they are studying. Because I know very well that you guys in here, there's someone who wants to be a doctor, a engineer, whatever. Myself, I studied civil engineering at UJ. There's someone who wants to study optometry, electrical. social work, whatever, guys. So I think you guys might be happy to have something similar to this. So it's going to be our online career exhibition. So in our time, we used to have like a place where we all go, full of buses, then we gather there and do everything there. But with the online thing, it's interesting in a sense that we can have such an event maybe 2 times a year. So I'll just make sure that all of you guys you just send me via inbox in terms of what you'd like to study. Just give me 2 options, what you'd like to study and everything. Then in the group, we brainstorm the questions, how to ask the questions and everything. Then when that event comes, we know all of us, we are ready in terms of the questions. Then we make sure that we don't repeat similar questions. Guys, do you think you would like to have such an event? Does it sound interesting?
Yes, sir. That would be so cool.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Please do that.
Please, sir. Please.
Okay, 100%, guys. So I will be working on it. So just make sure that before, one thing for sure, before the end of this year, we are going to just have one similar event. So it's not something that you can easily arrange because some of these guys, they might come costly and everything. So I just have to make sure that there's enough budget to accommodate everyone. But one thing for sure, before the end of this lesson, before the end of this year, we must be having such an event. And one thing for sure, it will be exclusively for my registered learners. So just make sure that you speak to my admin so that you can be registered. So guys, let's see. 3 point what? I think we are now on 3.5. And remember, guys, make sure that you follow the numbering system used in the question paper. Oh, someone asked me a question. Guys, you are more than welcome to invite your class study group or whatever. So just in case if you are using one phone to watch your lessons, in case if it's your neighbor or whatever, it's fine. But otherwise, if they want to join with their phones, you are welcome to invite them. So 3.5, hence, before I even go far, the word hence, it simply means refer to the previous question. So that means it serves as a hint in terms of how to approach this question. Hence means refer to the previous question. Just claim it like that. What type of special quadrilateral is PQRS? Motivate your answer. Guys, before I even give you an answer, is there someone who wants to give it a try, guys?
Sir, can you please try?
Sir,
Yes. Guys, are you still there? Who wanted to give it a try?
Rectangle.
Someone gives the correct answer, but I'm not able to tell who that is.
It's
So
LB,
remember,
sir.
oh yes, LB. Do you guys agree with LB?
yes, sir.
Yes,
But
sir.
LB, I'm going to give you 1 out of 2. So this question is allocated 2 marks. LB, why am I giving you 1 mark?
She didn't motivate her answer.
A honorable member, can you motivate your answer? You are recognized, honorable member.
Because both sides are equal.
or maybe let me say, in terms of
Gradient.
uh, in terms of cause wait, I think wait, don't make a comment as yet. I wanted to make a point, and I'm glad you said both sides are equal. So be careful of how you motivate the answer, guys, because when you say both sides are equal, we have this side and that side, which can be considered to be both sides, and these two sides are not equal. So what I wanted to say is that always, guys, make sure that in your response you become specific. Just make sure that it's either you be specific or factual. Thanks very much for saying that, because it made us to notice something, that sometimes in your response, guys, you can just say something correctly, but in your mind you know what you're talking about. But for me, as the marker at the marking center, I don't know what is both. So in mathematics, guys, make sure that if you want to talk about the lengths, make sure to make use of those capital letters so that it's clear. So whoever said that, well done for that comment. And again, can you also proceed by being specific? This is your opportunity to then try to be specific.
Opposite sides are equal and others are parallel.
Sir,
Wait. Who said that?
Morel.
Camorelo.
Yeah.
Lerato, can you tell me why am I going to give Camorelo a very big 0?
I think so. It's because the answer it can be expressed by 3.3 or 3.4, since we have proven those questions. So for
Wait. Is it Lerato speaking?
yes, sir.
Lerato, can you tell me why am I going to give Camorelo a very big 0 on what he said?
Because sir, it is not given that the opposite sides are equal or they are parallel. The only thing we have proven is the diagonals, of which is QS and PR. So maybe we can say that diagonals are equal, or we can say that one interior angle or the angle is 90 degrees, because we've proven that QR is perpendicular to RS. So I think that's going to be the reason. I don't know, sir.
Okay. Thanks for that input. But Camorelo, the reason why I'm not happy with your response is because, as I've said, you are not being specific. I would be happy if you guys can make use of these letters to make your point. So when you say both sides, both, it just refers to two things. So two things could be this side. I can also assume to say, when you say both, you're talking about that and that. And we know very well that in your mind, when you say both sides, you're talking about RQ and that, or otherwise these two sides. But please, Kamogelo, try to be specific. LB, did that make sense? I heard your voice. That means you are in today's lesson.
Yes, sir.
So, guys, let's try to be specific. So, in Lerato's response, I had something like the diagonals are square and one of the interior angle is equals to 90 degree. Is that what you said in summary, Lerato?
Yes, sir. I said the diagonals are equal.
So, Lerato said because. And what I like about that response is because he's referring to the previous questions which we were guided by that word hence. So remember, guys, diagonals are equal. So it's more like you are just stating the characteristics of a quadrilateral. What are those diagonals? Diagonals are equal being, let's say, being, what are those? Is Q and S, and again, which one? P, R. So these are the diagonal lines, guys, which are equal in terms of the length. And again, most importantly, we know very well that one interior, let's say specifically one interior angle is equals to 90 degree. But here comes a question, guys. How did we know that one interior angle is 90 degree? How did we know?
3.4 we proved that QR is perpendicular to RS. So since QR is perpendicular to RS, it means there is a 90-degree angle because we proved.
100%. So, ladies and gentlemen, that means for you to say M1 multiplied by M2 is equals to -1, it means this line of M1 and also that line of M2, they form a 90-degree angle. That is the reason why we are saying one interior angle is equals to 90 degrees. We proved it in the previous question when we said that gradient times that gradient is equals to -1. So Shreyas, are you there in the lesson? Does it make sense? Ferdinand, are you guys there?
Yes, sir.
My grade 10s.
Yes,
Is
sir.
there someone who's also in grade 10 of which they attended, they started attending my lessons recently? Is there someone who's also in grade 10? I'm not able to see who has attended today's lesson. Let me see. So they're going to give you guys a mark over there. So guys, does it make sense to everyone? Is there someone who has attended a lesson of which I could not notice they are there, and they understand or they don't understand? Are you guys all happy up to what we have done so far?
Yes, we are happy.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 100%, because I
I have
know
a
in every
question.
class
Sir, I have a
there are
question.
those. Oh yes,
I have a
question. Mm-hmm.
Said the thing of diagonals are equal. I don't understand it. You mean the diagonals bisect, or is it's a different sentence? Is it different, or is the same thing? And I do
Oh,
not understand.
is it Bomorauzi there in Venda?
Yes, sir.
Bomorauzi, what do you mean? Vuvua. Or
No, what is the same one?
boy tamini ngauri it's night now. What do I say?
Imadekwana.
Oh, ndimadekwana wood. Okay.
Yes.
Let's see. Let me try to explain this one of the diagonal. Let me also remove all of that. So I got the message that all of you guys are happy. So let's just quickly try to explain that. So that means if we have, let's say, a parallelogram similar to that, just make sure that in case if my explanation is limited and there's someone who can add to my explanation, just make sure I'll actually give you an opportunity. But for now, what I can remember is that when we talk about the diagonal lines, obviously, firstly, we must be having corners. So we've got corners there. So when we have those crossing lines, we call them let's see, then we refer to those as diagonals. So if this side is equals to that side, and again if this side is equals to that side, then we know we have a parallelogram which is a special one. Why is it a special one? Is because we know this type is a square. And again, I think we might also have a parallelogram which could be, let's say, maybe something similar to that. I think we'll just make sure to go through that image that I sent about parallelograms. So this is a parallelogram which is what is it? It's a quadrilateral, which is a rectangle. Let's say maybe also this is a quadrilateral, but it's not a rectangle. Why? Because maybe this side is not equal to that side, and maybe this side it's not equals to that side. And again, it's not a rectangle because diagonal lines are not equal in terms of lengths. So this length is longer than that length. And again, what is it? I'm just not really sure of what else. But for now, what I'm able to explain is that for a rectangle, in terms of the diagonal lines, the lengths of this line and that line must be equal. That is for a parallelogram, which is a rectangle. And how do we see it's a rectangle? It's because this line or the gradient of that line multiplied by the gradient of that line form a 90-degree angle. And again, I'm telling you guys, if you also calculate the gradient of that line, you already know for that line, when you multiply, they might also be equal to -1, which means they form a 90-degree angle there. You might also have a 90-degree angle there and there. But in this case, you cannot have a 90-degree angle there, you cannot have it there, you cannot have it there. So that means you can only have it in a rectangle, or maybe if you have another quadrilateral, which is a square. You know, a square, even the diagonal lines are equal in terms of lengths, and that line multiplied by the gradient of that line, you have 90 there and also there. Let me see. Lerato, did I miss something? There's something that you want to add, or is there someone who also have some additional information that they would like to add on to what I've said?
Wait, I have something to say.
Go for it. Who is it? Was it you, LB? I heard like someone wanted to say something.
Oh, yes, sir. I was saying that, does it mean that it's a straight line joining two opposite corners of a square or rectangle?
So, wait, so you're asking if that is a straight line and also that is a straight line, ne?
Yeah, straight line joining two opposite corners.
I think it's a yes, because this is a point and that is a point, then we join with a straight line, and again that is also a point, then it's a straight line. So it's two straight lines forming a 90-degree angle over there. So that means, remember, quadrilateral, I think it means 4 sides, isn't it? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So these sides are straight lines. So it's a straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line. The only difference here, is that in this case, you might be having this line at that angle, this line at that angle, or pointing in that direction, that direction, that direction, that direction. So that has an influence on the gradient of that specific line. So I'm not sure Bomolauzi and that other one who mentioned who asked that question about straight line. I'm not sure if that explanation maybe it makes the difference.
Yeah, it makes
Yes, sir.
sense. I understand now.
Okay, 100%. So that means we can now move to what is it? The last question, isn't it? But wait, guys, do I have my grade 10s in here, guys? If you are in grade 10 and you attended today's lesson, just mention your name, unmute, mention your name. Lehumelo Njamla. I had to mute your mic because you did not control your mic, so you are now unmuted. In case if you're in grade 10, just mention your name, guys, if you're in grade 10.
Yes, sir.
Sekgomuthi, sir.
Shreya Sekgomusi. Okay. Calculate the size of RS cube. So this is the last question for today's lesson, guys, and I don't think it should be complicated. Let's see. The question says calculate the size of angle S in triangle RSQ. So the first thing that you need to do, guys, is to draw that triangle. Let's see. Where is S? There's S. Where's R? There's R. Where's Q? There is Q. Okay. So let's see. That means the triangle that they are talking about is that one, with that point being point S, that one being point R, and that one being point Q. Guys, do you agree that we have a 90-degree angle there? In case if you don't agree or you don't understand, you can ask how or why. So, for those of you who agree that we have a 90-degree angle there, what is this and what does it mean? So, what is this triangle and what does it mean?
It's a right
It
angled
a
triangle.
right angle triangle with a 90-degree angle.
And the
Uh,
trig are capable.
I like that response, guys. It's a right angled triangle with a 90-degree angle. What a nice response, guys. So, in addition to that, I heard Lerato saying, which means trig ratios are applicable. What are the trig ratios, guys? We talk about sine, we talk about cos, we talk about tan. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. So, because it's a right angled triangle, that means you can apply these trig ratios. But here comes a question, guys. The angle that they are talking about, is it that angle there or is it this one? Which one are they talking about?
He's talking about
A 90-degree
S.
angle.
Guys, they are talking about angle S. That is why it's written in the middle of these two letters, and again, it has that whatever that we call it. So that means this is the angle that they are talking about, of which we can just refer to that angle as angle theta, or otherwise you can still refer to it as angle that. It doesn't really matter that much. What matters the most is that they want a size. And most importantly, it means our angle should be in degrees. That's very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. If you just say 57, I'm not going to give you a mark because I don't know if that is your age or whatever, guys. So let's see. what other information do we know about that triangle?
We have the length of Q, which
RS is equal
5
to square root of 5.
So someone is saying RS is equals to square root of 5. What else do we have?
the length of SQ, which is 5 root 2. Yes.
So someone is saying we have that length, which is 5 root 2. Do we also know that length? Or we did not calculate it, isn't it?
Yes, we did not calculate it.
Okay, so which trig ratio can we use in this? Guys, let's leave it for one of our grade 10 learners. I just want them to guess in terms of which trig ratio do they think we can use in this case. Remember to mention your name and give it a guess.
Shreyas, 10.
Shreyas, go for it. So Shreyas is saying we can use 10. So let's see. Guide me, Shreyas.
No,
How do we?
so not 10, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use sine.
We can use sun. Okay, guide me, Shreyas. What are we having? So that means we have a sine of. So can you see, Shreyas? You can either use a theta there, or you can use that what is it? You can either use that angle. So that means you are saying sine of, let's use angle theta. What am I having there, Shreyas?
So you're having root 5 over 5 root 2.
Wait, I'm having, you're saying root 5. Wait, tell me
divided.
what to write, Shreyas.
So on the top side you can have root 5, and at the bottom 5 root 2.
5 root 2. But before we even get to that one, what is the trig ratio for sine? Is there someone who wants to give it a try? Remember, guys, let's let it for the grade 10s to give it a try. I'm sure if they get it wrong and we correct them, they will never forget. So you can go for it, Shreyas. What is the trig ratio for sine angle in terms of opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse? And remember, Shreyas, in case if you forgot, you can just mention. Then we'll also try someone to just check if they can give it a try.
Let me try, sir.
Your name again? What's your name? Is it Ferdinand?
Yes, sir. Ferdinand Matibisho.
Ferdinand, you can also give it a try. Let's see.
Sine equals to opposite over hypotenuse.
So you're saying sine is equals to opposite over hypotenuse, okay? What is opposite there?
Root 5, sir.
A square root of 5. So that means you and Shreyas are on the same page, okay? It's fine, which means we'll still need to revisit this chapter, guys. So remember, guys, when you have something similar to this, especially when it's given on this chapter of analytical geometry, that's where it gets a bit confusing, and sometimes because you've been doing those other questions, you also lose confidence. But I know if it was in a trick question, you would have nailed it. I'm just not sure with the guys in grade 11 and 12, in case if you can assist us there.
Sir, can I give it a try?
Give it a try.
So I think the Trig ratio we'll use is cos.
Tell me what to write. Cos angle. What are we having there?
Is square root of 5.
Eh,
Root 5.
in terms of the ratios, what are we having?
It's adjacent over hypotenuse.
It's adjacent over hypotenuse. So that means a square root of 5 over a 5 square root of what is it, 2. So remember guys, if a triangle is given in that manner, and this is where we have our 90-degree angle. Remember, that 90-degree angle and that angle there, this side it becomes our adjacent, and that one there, it's obviously our opposite. Then this one, it's our hypotenuse. So in this case, because it is the angle that we are calculating, you need a trig ratio which has a adjacent and hypotenuse. So that is why we are choosing cos. If we had this side and that side, we were going to use tan. If we had this side and that side, we were going to use what is it, sine. So let's see guys, obviously for us to get that angle, we have to say second function of that square root of 5 over 5, the root of 2. Then in that way, we are going to be able to get our angle. So be careful guys, your angle has to be less than 90. If you get a number greater than 90, you know something is wrong with your calculation. So what is that angle guys? Is there someone who has calculated it?
It's
It's
71.57.
72.52.
Did I hear 71?
Yes,
I
sir.
had
Yes.
71 and 72.
71,57.
71.57.
171.57 degrees. Good people, by so doing, we are going to give you your full 3 marks. So that is going to be allocated a mark, and also your final answer will be given a mark. Guys, only if your answer has got that degree, it's going to be given a mark. Otherwise, instead of you using angle theta, that means throughout your calculation, it means you have cos of r angle s, and what else, q. Or otherwise, if you said cos angle s is equals to whatever is still fine. So this is what we are interested in with the correct unit. Good people, would you say today's lesson is exactly what you expected if you all understood?
Yes,
Isn't
sir.
that
Yes, sir.
topic we even did at school, sir?
So
100%. So guys, thanks very much for joining. Please do make sure that you do as always in the group. Remember guys, don't comment in the group. You can only raise your hand, like some of the comments or whatever, only if I asked a question and I want you guys to respond. That's when you can send a text. But if I did not ask any question, guys, do not send any text, because my admin might remove you guys. So it doesn't matter whether you won't be able to attend the lesson or not. You can either send an inbox, or otherwise don't attend at all. But I'll make sure that you are not left behind. I'll record the lesson and post it so that you can catch up. So never feel sorry guys for yourself, or feel embarrassed or whatever in case if you miss a lesson. I do understand sometimes I also go through load shedding and whatever, but most importantly, I make sure to record the lesson so that no one is left behind. So guys, thanks very much for joining. My name is Desmond, and I'm out.
thank you, sir.
Say bye.
Thank you, sir.
Good night, sir.